Alright, hi, and welcome to Dog Breath Games. We're your hosts, Lee Kress and
I'm Zula Kress.
And welcome to episode 1, Why and How to Design and Publish Board Games.
Long title.
Long title, but appropriately named, I hope. First, a little bit about us. I kind of grew up in a household that didn't really play games that much. We had Monopoly and Sorry and things like that, but wasn't really exposed to anything outside of that. But I did love creating games from a young age, so I've made quite a few in my life, and that passion carried through to my adult life, and I still make board games.
And I grew up in a non-TV watching household, so games became very important. We played a lot of games when I was a kid, really common games and a lot of uncommon games as well. So I have always loved board games, and I consider it a really great pastime and a great thing to do with your friends anytime.
Yeah. So a few years ago, having made several games, I decided to try to make and publish my own game with my own company, just kind of as a hobby business sort of thing. And so that's kind of where Dog Breath Games came from. In my first game, Empires of Zadal, which was successfully kickstarted in March of 2013, and we'll be getting the copies here within a month, about a month.
Very exciting.
Yeah, and yeah, it's nice to finally see finished product come in.
So with that introduction, let's talk about this episode. Why and how to design and publish board games. I don't know if it's just us or if it's a trend in general, but over the past decade, games seem to be becoming more and more popular. More and more people are playing board games. And like I said, we've been looking into it because Lee is making his own game, but we have so many more friends that just play board games all the time. We've been going to events that seem to be getting larger and larger, full of board gaming people, and just clubs all over town, and it's really great, and we're very excited about it. We did some research on games and game sales. From what we could find, the #1 board game of all time is one you could probably guess: Monopoly.
Or Purdue-opoly, as we have.
Or we have Purdue-opoly out. Yeah, it sold over 250 million games so far, which, I mean, a lot of households have, I'm sure that's all the versions. A lot of households have several versions, so I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, we alone had 3, which we gave one away recently.
How many do you need? Many other top sellers were from games I'm sure you recognize, like Hasbro, Milton Bradley, games like Clue, Trivial Pursuit, and Sorry. If you want to just talk about today's games, the popular games from today, the top 10 selling board games for spring of 2013, starting at number 5, Zombicide, number 4, Mage Knight, number 3, Small World, number 2, Ticket to Ride, and the number 1, Settlers of Catan, which we have out and everybody loves. It sold about 18 million copies, and that was in 2009, so I'm sure they've sold many more with their extra expansions since then. Board Game Geek, the website, has a link that lists 200 different games, their sales, and in many cases links to back up the information on how many sales they have. Here's some of the most popular games and an idea of their sales. Power Grid sold 50,000 copies as of 2008. Puerto Rico, 250,000 copies as of 2011. Seven Wonders, 200,000 copies in the first year, and Agricola, 50 to 60,000 copies as of 2008. So that's a lot of games being sold.
And then some of those are kind of old, so I'm sure they've sold more since then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we just researching, I mean, but these are the biggest games that everybody hears about and that are selling the best.
Yeah. So I guess with those statistics, the first part of this particular episode is why to design board games. And if you kind of are like us and look around and see all these board games being made, all these board games being sold, the big conventions, and you think, wow, I could make a lot of money if I made my own board game. I would have to say that is not a very good reason to get into this. There's a lot of board games that come out every year, and sure, there's people out there that are making a living on board games, but if you're just going to jump into it and think, you know, that you'll be able to do that easily, I would have to say that's not a good reason to get into it. The only really acceptable answer, I think, to that question is because I love to design games, because I love to share those games with friends and family, and because I want to create something that the community as a whole, I think, would appreciate and some people would enjoy. And if you make money doing it, and you make the next great game and you make $1 million, then great. You know, it's more to you, more benefit for doing it. But to get into it for that reason, I think you'll end up being disappointed.
You definitely need to have a passion for this if you're going to do it. If you want to make games as a hobby and show it to your friends, do that. There's nobody trying to stop you. But if you want to sell games and you want to become rich, you probably shouldn't do it. You need to have a passion and willingness to have people just say it's horrible to your face, but still love the game and love it enough that it doesn't bother you and you're there for the joy of the game. To prove that point a little bit more, we looked up how many games are released every year, just to give you a vague idea of what kind of competition you're looking at. Every single year, there are somewhere between 800 and 1,200 new games released, and that's, like we said, the industry right now seems to be exploding, so it's probably going to increase in the next few years, especially with things like Kickstarter making it easier and easier for people to do this. That's 3 or 4 games released every single day, so you will have quite a bit of competition. Most of these games sell very little. There's a website, The Game Crafter, which has over 1,200 indie board game titles, and they give awards or accolades to people who, as they sell their games, they keep track of how many have sold and they give accolades out. And just to give you an idea, the first award that they give you is for just selling 10 copies. Most people can do that just by selling to their parents and grandparents. So, but they'll give an award for 10 copies. So that shows you how many games people are selling. I mean, a lot of games aren't selling.
Games, yeah, selling 10, 20, 30 copies is you know, considered good if you just make it you know, as a personal hobby sort of thing. If you want to get a little more professional and hire a professional artist and try to kickstart it, then you could sell potentially in the hundreds. You know, our Empires of the Doll campaign ended up selling 300 copies through Kickstarter, so we were pretty lucky there for our first Kickstarter to be successful and to overfund of our goal. So on to the second question of this episode, which is how to design board games. That's really going to be the focus of this video series. As we stated earlier, we're not experts by any means. We're new to a lot of the community, new to conventions really, new to a lot of great games out there, but we do love games. We do love designing games, and I think we do have some knowledge to share from our experiences over the past year of trying to get our game kickstarted and funded, and things to look out for, things to do, things to spend extra time on, things not to worry about so much. So that we'll be sharing that over the course of 10 to 12 episodes over the year. And so I guess be on the lookout. We'll probably update once a month maybe with a new episode, which will be as simple as how to make prototype cards, how to make the board, how to make tokens, to how to play test, how to find an artist, how to do a Kickstarter, how to find a manufacturer, and a lot of this will be things we've done, which is how to do it independently, not through another company. So, I don't know, do you have anything else to say?
No, that's it. Come back for our next installment, which will be something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And in addition to these tips, you'll also kind of get to see my first board game, Empires of the Doll, come to life. It has been successfully kickstarted in March of 2013. and it's now September of 2013, and the games have just shipped out, and so they're on their way here to Indiana, where I'll be distributing them to the Kickstarter backers.
If you want to read any of the statistics that we presented today, the links will be down below, or find out any more information about us, Dog Breath Games. Our website is here, so check us out.
Yeah, email us. There's also a comment section below where you can comment on this video and things you'd like to see potentially. So yeah, check us out, check our game out, and hope you come back for more videos, and hope you find it useful at least.
Yes, thank you for watching.